So I'm going to gloat a little bit. It seems like Michael Moore, my old nemesis, who disparaged the men's movement many years ago, laughed us off as angry white males. So he's getting divorced. You know, I don't know what the details are. It could have happened to a nicer guy. I don't wish him ill will, but maybe he'll see up close what the feminist family court is like. You know, but I have a theory, though. I've never expressed this, but I think the alpha males that are in power, you know, the people who give the mistaken impression to feminists that men rule the world, that fraction of 1% of people like Michael Moore and judges and politicians, CEOs, you know, they're generally alpha males, if you want to label people. They may not be so inclined to care if they get custody of their children or have liberal visitation with their children. These are generally people who want to succeed in politics or business, really, and their sacrifice wasn't much because they really chose to do this because they wanted to do it many, many times. To be driven as you do, enough to be great to levels of famous politicians and businessmen and Michael Moore. You really don't care so much about your senior children as much because your first love is art or business or education or politics or your job. So I don't know Michael Moore personally, but maybe he doesn't care if he gets equal shared parenting with his ex-wife. I don't even know if he has children. But see, that's the dilemma, that a lot of these people that can change things and should have empathy for the average man or father, a lot of times they don't because they themselves don't care if they do get divorced, even though they get fleeced by the court and are forced to pay astronomical amounts for so-called child support, you know, $20,000 per month for child support. You know, what child really needs that amount of money? People, men like that, they still have more left over to live on. But the average father can't survive on astronomical percentages of child support or alimony, lifetime alimony. It's crazy. So Michael Moore, hey, I hope you still stay a feminist and take care of your wife and your children, and I hope you have a few crumbs left over. Okay, now for the real serious, horrible freaking guy, Steve Harvey. He's got a talk show. He's a comedian, and he's got, I guess, a popular talk show during the day. And I happened to catch a few of them, and I had to now, after this latest promo, I had to definitely bring it up now because I saw a couple of his shows where, oh, this was the one joke. He, I guess he thought it was a joke. A woman from the audience was complaining about her husband in some way, and he made a joke that Jess hit him upside the head with a baseball bat. That was funny. That was supposed to be her way of keeping him, putting him back in line. Steve Harvey, you're a horrible freaking guy, man. You're promoting domestic violence. Yep. I'm gonna title that about this video. Steve Harvey promotes domestic violence because he said it and he made light of it. And this freaking jerk, for all he knows, this woman that was speaking to him, or any woman or women in the audience, they may be freaking batterers or battering their husbands. You know, it happens. It's just as common as the other way around. It's a reciprocal thing. And you're encouraging the violence. You're encouraging the violence. You know, most domestic violence is reciprocal. So a portion of those women in your audience, Steve Harvey, are involved in domestic violence both ways with their husbands or boyfriends. And instead of you telling them, this is not right, you talk it out, no, you encourage them to hit the husband with a baseball bat. Oh, but this latest thing, okay, is a promo for his new show, and he's calling it, now the Steve Harvey has a movement. It's called a movement, and they're all dancing like this is a big movement. He's leading a movement of women. They're all dancing, and they cut to a woman saying, you know, you led me to learn how to recognize how bad my boyfriend was treating me, and I kicked him to the curb. So is that the movement, Steve Harvey? You're leading a domestic violence movement against mainly men and a backlash against men. Do you hate men and boys, Steve Harvey? You see them belittle them, encourage violence against them? Well, I just want to know, okay? It's not funny. You know, there are many men who are killed by their wives and girlfriends. There are children who are abused by their mothers. Females abuse also. So it's not all. You don't have all angels in your viewing audience and in your studio there, sir. And also as a follow-up comment to, of course, the International Conference on Men's Issues that I attended, that I absolutely adored going to. It was freaking amazing. We got a lot of negative press. It's you know what I didn't like was that, see, of course we all went in there, me of course also, thinking that whatever pressure is there, and if they ask us questions, we'll answer their questions. But as Paul Elam's right, we went in there, you know, taking the high road, and they really didn't take the high road themselves. Many of them took the low road, or at the least, what they did quote was irrelevant stuff. I mean, yeah, they quoted me and a couple of the guys saying about how they didn't do that well in their divorce, and that's how they sort of came to the movement. I say forget any personal information from now on, because I didn't need to tell that story, and none of us needed to tell any personal stories. We just did it out of courtesy to the reporters as sort of like background, but that background was the story to them. That wasn't the story. So I propose at the next one, we not give any personal information, because it's totally irrelevant. They are portraying us as we're going into this because we have this baggage and we're still bitter about our exes or how the divorce went, and we're going to complain. That's furthest from the truth. I'm telling you what our movement is, that we've if we had any of those problems, we've risen above it. We've solved it. Now we are strong, and we're fighting the injustices that have faced us, and people, men and women, are facing. So we're coming at this from a point of strength. We're strong beyond belief. We're not wounded people by any means. And so our personal histories will be totally irrelevant. We didn't want to tell these stupid, you know, our personal stories. We don't need that. It just really sidelined the issue. I think if we're asked any of that by any reporter, it's irrelevant. No, I don't. I'm not speaking on the record about my personal life. It has nothing to do with why we're here. I want to speak about the issues that we're here for, and I will speak only about that, and that's really all you're going to get out of me. It's irrelevant how I came to this movement, unless you're going to do a human interest story on it, but we don't want that. We don't want that. Because when we give them little personal tidbits that they can use to make us look bad, it does us no good. So whatever we give them, we've got to give only the best. because they're going to pick and choose what we do say and concentrate on. So we don't want them to portray us as they have. Just out of being honest, yes, we told them, some of us probably told, yeah, I'm divorced or I haven't seen my children, but many of us didn't have those horror stories. We're in it, just look at the women. Many of them didn't have these horror stories, but they're in it for the righteousness of it, to help our fellow man and woman. Okay, take care.